something's wrong. But I'm here to tell you, it means everything is right, GHT. Let me tell y'all something that most people get completely wrong. And I mean way wrong. When a woman lives alone, without a boyfriend, without a man coming in and out of her door like it's a revolving one, folks assume she's struggling. They look at her sideways like, what's wrong with her? Why is she all by herself? Let me tell you what's wrong with her. Nothing. Matter of fact, that woman might just be the strongest person in the room. See, people think being alone means you're lacking something. They think it means you ain't got no options, or you must be hard to deal with, or you too picky, or you got issues. No. Let me tell you the truth. Sometimes a woman lives alone because she finally got tired of the noise, tired of the games, and tired of pretending she was okay settling for a piece of somebody when she deserved the whole damn thing. It takes strength to be alone. It takes a kind of internal power to walk in your front door, hear that silence and not flinch, but to feel peace instead. Y'all don't understand how powerful that is. She ain't rushing to fill her space with just anybody. She's not afraid of that quiet. You know why? Because she found out that quiet ain't lonely. It's healing. It's where she gets to think clearly, breathe deeply, and rest fully without having to adjust herself to somebody else's chaos. Let me tell you what a woman who lives alone learns real fast: self-sufficiency. She learns how to fix the light bulbs, how to budget her money, how to make her own decisions without needing validation. She ain't sitting around waiting for somebody to tell her she's enough. She already knows she is. She got her own routine, her own standards, her own way of doing things. And guess what? She's good with it. She ain't lonely. She's liberated. Now, don't get me wrong. That don't mean she hates men or don't want love. Let's not twist this. It just means she's not out here chasing it like it's air, and she can't breathe without it. She ain't desperate. She ain't out here settling for some dude just 'cause he texted back. No, she's out here checking character, not just chemistry. See, when you live alone, you gotta look in the mirror and face you. Ain't no distractions. Ain't nobody else to blame. You sit with your thoughts. You deal with your past. You handle your own storms. And when a woman does that, man, let me tell you, she becomes unstoppable. That kind of woman doesn't just build a home, she builds a kingdom. She's the queen of her space. She chooses the vibe, the music, the scent of the candles, the energy, and most importantly, she chooses who gets access to all of that. And you best believe, after everything she's been through, she ain't just letting any old energy walk up in her place and mess up what took years to fix. You know what's crazy? Some men get intimidated by a woman like that. They don't know what to do with her. She's not impressed by surface. She's not moved by sweet talk. You gotta bring substance. You gotta bring peace, because that's what she's already built. And she ain't sacrificing it just to say she got somebody. A woman who lives alone knows how to be alone. And that's the whole game. 'Cause when you can be alone and still be whole, you don't tolerate just anything. You don't accept halfway love. You don't need company just to fill the room. Your standards shoot up because you realize that you are the peace. And whoever wants to be in your life better come correct or don't come at all. She ain't lonely. She's focused. She's learning new things. She's cooking meals she actually wants to eat, not just trying to impress somebody. She's watching shows she likes, not sitting through 4 hours of football just to be cool. She's sleeping diagonally across her bed and waking up without drama. And look, there might be nights she wishes she had someone. That's human. That's real. But she's learned to hold out for something real instead of running after something temporary. Because when you've got independence and you've worked for your peace and you know who you are, that loneliness you used to fear becomes freedom you protect. So the next time you see a woman living alone, walking in her purpose, minding her business, not chasing no man, not worried about who's texting or not texting, don't feel sorry for her. Respect her. She's already figured out one of life's biggest secrets. Let me tell you something that most folks ain't gonna admit out loud. Some of y'all are in relationships right now, not because they feel good. not because they feed your soul, but because you're scared to be alone. You're scared of what people might say. You're scared of those quiet nights. You're scared of those Sunday mornings with nobody next to you. And I get it. I do. But there comes a point where you got to ask yourself, is this company worth the cost of your peace? See, there's something powerful about a woman who decides, you know what? I choose peace over pressure. She's not trying to impress social media. She ain't doing it for a Facebook status. She's not performing happiness for folks who don't even live in her house. She's choosing something deeper, her sanity, her stillness, her sense of self. Pressure shows up in a lot of forms. Family asking when you're going to settle down, friends wondering why you still single. Society acting like your value drops with every birthday you spend without a ring. But let me tell you something. Peace don't have a deadline. Happiness don't come wrapped in a man. And being whole is not about having somebody else's last name. It's about knowing your own worth. You see, when a woman chooses to live alone without boyfriends, she's not doing that because she couldn't get one. Trust and believe, if she lowered the bar low enough, she could have 5 by Friday. That ain't the problem. The issue is she's done settling. She's done negotiating with her own spirit just to keep someone around who don't even know how to love her right. Peace is knowing you don't have to wake up to arguments. Peace is not walking on eggshells because somebody else got emotional instability. Peace is not explaining your every move or sacrificing your dreams to be someone's emotional crutch. That's what she's choosing. That's what she's guarding. She's not bitter. She's not cold-wise. Let me tell y'all something I've seen over and over again. A woman gets with a man who looks good on paper. He's got the height, the smile, the charm. Everybody says he's a catch. But behind closed doors, she's crying more than she's laughing. She's shrinking herself just to keep the peace. But guess what? That ain't peace. That's survival. That's enduring, not living. And there's a big difference. That's why I respect the woman who steps back and says, nah, this ain't it. I love myself too much to keep begging for consistency. I love my mind too much to keep explaining why my boundaries matter. I love my heart too much to keep handing it to people who don't know how to carry it. That's not weakness. That's strength. That's a woman who understands that being alone is better than being mishandled. You know what pressure does? It makes you think time is running out. It makes you look at your life like it's a checklist. It'll whisper lies to you like you're behind, like you're not enough, like you're losing. But peace reminds you that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Peace don't rush. Peace don't panic. Peace sits in the silence and says, I'm still blessed. I'm still growing. I'm still valuable. When a woman stops chasing attention and starts protecting her energy, everything changes. Her skin glows different. Her walk gets stronger. Her smile becomes more real. That's not loneliness you're seeing. That's freedom. That's freedom. That's clarity. You can't buy that. You can't fake that. And most importantly, you can't get that from just having someone next to you in bed who ain't next to you in purpose. Pressure will make you settle. Peace will make you wait. And waiting, that's not weakness. That's faith. That's believing that the love you deserve is still out there. But until it comes, you're not going to let the wrong one sit in the seat just to keep it warm. You're not going to dress up dysfunction and call it love. You're not going to confuse attention with affection. You've learned the difference now, and that makes all the difference. There's something about a woman who's made peace her priority. You walk in her space and you can feel it. Ain't no drama in the air. Ain't no tension. Just peace. Just purpose. Just a woman who's learned to love her own presence so much she refuses to invite anyone in who brings confusion. And listen, this kind of woman ain't cold. She's not closed off. She's still open to love. She still dreams. She still hopes. But she's not going to let pressure push her into another heartbreak. She's done chasing, done fixing, done babysitting grown boys who don't know how to show up. She's choosing peace. And if love wants to find her, it better show up with that same energy. So if you're that woman right now, I need you to hear this. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not too much or too little. You are wise. You are whole. You are grounded. You made a decision that most people are too afraid to make. You chose you. You chose peace. Let me break something down for you real simple. You can't build something solid on top of something broken. You can't keep piling relationships on top of old pain, old scars, and old habits and expect to wake up in love. That's not how it works. See, there's a reason some women decide to take a step back from all the dating, the talking stages, the late night texts, the what are we conversations, and just focus on healing. And let me tell you, that ain't weakness. That's wisdom. A woman who lives alone without boyfriends isn't hiding from love. She's not scared of relationships. She's just finally realized that love without healing turns into hurt. And she's not in the business of hurting anymore. She's not interested in repeating cycles. She's not interested in dressing up her wounds and pretending everything is okay. She's doing the real work, and that takes courage. Some of y'all don't realize how brave it is to look in the mirror and say, I need to fix what's going on inside of me before I invite someone else into my world. Most people run from that. They jump from person to person, trying to use one heart to forget another, trying to use a new relationship as a band-aid over wounds that haven't even been clean. And then they wonder why it keeps falling apart. It falls apart because you can't build forever with broken tools. That woman who's living alone, not taking numbers, not chasing dates, not falling into flings, she's not cold, she's healing. She's learning how to sit with herself. She's learning how to face that pain from the last man who didn't see her worth. She's processing that childhood trauma she pushed down for years. She's unpacking that betrayal she never really dealt with. And it ain't pretty. It's not Instagrammable. Healing ain't cute. It's hard, but it's necessary. You gotta understand, when a woman starts healing, her standards change. She no longer entertains just anybody. She no longer settles for potential. She stops calling inconsistency normal. She stops tolerating disrespect wrapped in charm, because healing opens your eyes. It clears out the fog. You stop falling for the same old game because you finally realize you deserve better. Not just better treatment, but a better version of yourself. And let me tell you what happens next. Once she starts healing, she also starts growing emotionally, spiritually, mentally. She stops needing validation from outside. She's not sitting around hoping someone texts her back. She's not measuring her beauty by how many compliments she gets. Her worth don't fluctuate based on who stays or who leaves. She becomes rooted, not reactive, grounded, not desperate. That kind of growth is rare. That kind of peace, the kind you earn through self-work, that ain't easy to shake. That's why she's not quick to jump into another relationship. Not because she's bitter, not because she's stuck up, but because she understands now what's at stake. She knows how much she's invested into becoming whole. And she's not about to trade that in for someone who's only half ready. See, when you heal, you learn to be okay with waiting. You're no longer in a rush. You realize that being ready for love is not the same as being ready for a relationship. Anybody can get into a relationship, but are you ready to show up? Are you ready to communicate without exploding? Are you ready to love without keeping score? Are you ready to trust without holding your new person hostage for what your ex did? She's asking those questions. She's doing that work. And because she is, she's not in a hurry. She's not lonely. She's intentional. She understands now that love is not about finding someone to fill a void. It's about connecting with someone from a place of wholeness, not wounds. And look, it gets lonely sometimes. That's the truth. There are nights when the silence is loud. Days when she wonders if this healing thing is worth it. Times when she sees couples and questions if her turn will come. But even in those moments, she doesn't run back to old patterns. She doesn't call up that man she already cried over. She doesn't lower her standards just to have someone. She breathes through it. She reminds herself how far she's come, and she keeps choosing herself, because here's what she knows now: unhealed love breaks things. It damages good hearts. It turns hopeful people into guarded ones. It makes love feel like war when it's supposed to feel like home. And she's not willing to be part of that anymore. She's decided that healing first is not just about protecting herself. It's about protecting the next person who tries to love her too. That's grown. That's powerful. That's rare. And that's why you better respect a woman who's taking time to heal before she attaches. That's not her being difficult. That's her being responsible. Because she knows now, real love can't survive in a heart that's still bleeding. So if she's sitting alone single, smiling, sipping her tea with peace in her eyes and a softness in her spirit, don't feel bad for her. Don't assume she's waiting for a man to come fix her life. Understand this. She's already doing the fixing. She's already doing the building. And when the time is right, the right one will show up, not to complete her, but to complement who she's already become. You ever notice how people look at a woman who's living by herself with no man in sight and think something must be wrong with her, like she's incomplete or something, like she's just waiting around for some guy to come along and give her life meaning? Nah, let me tell you what's really going on. When a woman lives alone without boyfriends, she's not waiting, she's building. She's building herself, her dreams, her peace, her purpose. And most importantly, she's learning how to enjoy her own company. Now, that right there, that's a gift. That's something most folks run from. A lot of people can't sit with themselves without reaching for a distraction. They need somebody on the line, somebody blowing up their phone, somebody texting wide at 11 p.m. They can't go to dinner alone. They can't take a trip solo. But when a woman gets to that point where she can sit in her own silence and feel full, baby, that's a whole new level. See, this ain't about being antisocial. This ain't about building walls. It's about building value, the kind that doesn't require constant validation. When you know who you are, when you've worked on yourself, when you've healed from your mess and stopped jumping from person to person, you start to enjoy your own space in a way that's peaceful, not pitiful. She's not lonely. She's selective. There's a difference. She ain't just out here letting any man with a smile and a compliment sit at her table. Her table got quality on it, peace, healing, growth, discipline, goals, faith. And you can't just show up empty-handed and expect a seat. When a woman gets comfortable in her own presence, she starts doing things for herself that other people used to do for her, and she does it better. She takes herself to dinner. She buys herself flowers. She walks through the store and gets exactly what she wants. No compromising. She makes plans and keeps them, even if it's just with herself. That's not strange. That's strength. Because let me tell you something real. When you can enjoy your own company, you stop chasing people who don't know how to enjoy you. You don't beg. You don't over-explain. You don't shrink. You don't perform. You just exist fully and freely in your own skin. And people can feel that. They walk into your life and realize you're not pressed. You're not desperate. You're not moved by sweet nothings whispered too early. You're listening now. You're watching behavior. You're checking alignment. You're not impressed by who talks the most. You're impressed by who shows up the most. She's at peace now. She used to be the type to answer texts right away just to prove she was available. Now, she answers when she's ready. Not out of games, not to be petty, but because she no longer ties her worth to how quickly she responds to somebody else. She's got joy now that don't require attention. She wakes up, thanks God, handles her business, and makes her coffee like a queen. She laughs at her own jokes, dances in the mirror, and sleeps in the middle of the bed. Ain't nobody snatching the covers. Ain't nobody snoring in her ear. Just her peace and her purpose. She might get lonely now and then, sure. That's normal. She's human. But she doesn't stay there. She doesn't go running back to a warm body with cold intentions. She doesn't reopen doors she had to slam shut. She doesn't confuse boredom with connection. Because she's learned that companionship means nothing if it costs your peace. And now that she's tasted peace, she's not letting it go for crumbs. She wants something that feeds her, fuels her, respects her and walks with her, not someone she has to drag just to feel needed. She's enjoying her own company now, and let me tell you, that's dangerous in the best way. That means she's not afraid of being alone. That means she's not going to settle just because she's tired. That means whoever steps to her better come whole, better come real, and better come right. And don't get it twisted. She's still soft. She still loves. She still believes in romance. But she also understands time is precious, and she ain't wasting another second trying to fix, chase, or change somebody. She's too busy watering her own garden. And baby, that thing is blooming. She's got joy in her heart, not because someone gave it to her, but because she gave it to herself. She learned to clap for herself. She learned to check on herself. She learned that she doesn't need to be someone's girlfriend to feel worthy. She already is. And that's why she don't mind being by herself. Because now she knows that alone doesn't mean unloved. It means unbothered. It means free. It means whole. It means ready for the right kind of love whenever it shows up. And if it never does, she's still good. Let me tell you something that most folks won't say out loud. Some of the strongest women you will ever meet are the ones who walk away from relationships that no longer serve them. Not because it's easy, not because they don't love, but because they finally realize that holding on to something broken is costing them more than it's giving. A woman who chooses to live alone without boyfriends has often been through enough to know the difference between attachment and peace. And now she's protecting her energy like it's sacred, because it is. See, the thing is, once a woman gets to a point where she values her peace, her time, and her growth, she stops entertaining relationships that feel like she's constantly fighting to be seen, heard, or understood. She's no longer interested in being someone's therapist, fixer, emotional dumping ground, or side option. She's not begging anybody to get it right anymore. She's not waiting for someone to finally wake up and realize her worth. She knows it now, and that changes everything. It's not that she doesn't want love. Oh, she does. She still believes in it. She still hopes for it. But what she won't do anymore is put herself in spaces that drain her. She won't explain common decency. She won't tolerate disrespect dressed up as jokes. She won't stick around for potential while she's bleeding herself dry trying to help him grow. She's done with all that. She used to shrink herself for love, used to dim her light so somebody else could feel big, used to bite her tongue to keep the peace in a relationship that wasn't peaceful in the first place. She used to be the one who forgave too fast, held on too long, and gave more than she received. But life taught her some lessons. Pain taught her how to pay attention. Silence taught her how to listen to her own voice. Now, she walks away, not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of alignment, because she's learned that not everyone deserves access to her energy. And loving someone doesn't mean sacrificing yourself in the process. It doesn't mean losing your voice just to keep a man around. That's not love, that's survival. And she ain't surviving anymore, she's living. She had to learn that not every man who smiles at you is sent from God. Some are lessons, some are detours, some are mirrors showing you what still needs to be healed inside of you. And once she did that work, once she took off the rose-colored glasses and looked at her patterns, she stopped blaming the world and started setting standards. She stopped trying to be chosen and realized she's already worthy with or without a man choosing her. Now she guards her heart, not because she's afraid of love, but because she understands the cost of giving it to the wrong person. She knows how long it took to recover the last time she gave too much to someone who gave too little. She's not bitter. She's just aware now, aware of what drains her, aware of what triggers her, aware of how quickly she used to abandon herself for someone else's comfort. And she's not doing that anymore. She'd rather sit in silence than in a room filled with fake laughter. She'd rather sleep alone in peace than lie next to someone who makes her feel unseen. She'd rather protect her solitude than lose herself trying to make a broken man whole. Because now she understands that it's not her job to fix anyone. It's not her job to convince someone of her worth. It's her job to protect her energy, to honor herself like she once honored people who didn't even deserve her kindness. And let's be real, it takes strength to do that. It takes strength to walk away from what's familiar, even if it's toxic. It takes strength to break cycles, to say, this ends with me, to leave behind the comfortable chaos and choose the uncomfortable healing. She's done that, and that's why she's glowing differently now. That's why she walks differently now, because peace looks good on her. Boundaries look good on her. Wholeness looks good on her. She's not interested in temporary connections anymore. Not interested in men who want to play house but don't want to build a home. Not interested in lovers who come for her body but can't handle her soul. She's looking for something deeper now. And until that shows up, she's cool all by herself, not lonely, just unavailable for nonsense. She's got goals. She's got vision. She's got her own back now. She's not sitting around waiting for a man to rescue her. She rescued herself. She's not auditioning for love anymore. Love will find her as she's out here building, creating, living, thriving. Because here's the truth. When a woman protects her energy, she stops looking for someone to complete her and starts recognizing who's worthy of joining her. She no longer needs to be in a relationship to feel fulfilled. She's fulfilled already. Anything added to her life must bring value, peace, and alignment, or it doesn't belong. She's finally realized that her energy is currency, and she's done spending it on people who don't invest back. She's done loaning out her heart to folks with no intention of keeping it safe. She's not here for the emotional roller coasters, the confusion, the almost, and the empty promises. She's here for clarity, for consistency, for truth. And if it doesn't come with that, it can stay outside her peace. She's not bitter. She's better. Not cold, just clear. And that clarity, that's what gives her strength. That's what lets her walk away now without second guessing herself. That's what keeps her grounded. That's what makes her powerful. Because once a woman knows the power of protecting her peace, she stops settling for people who only bring her pain. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. A woman who lives alone, who ain't got boyfriends rotating in and out of her life, she ain't missing nothing. She's not falling behind. She's not out here failing at life. In fact, she's ahead in ways most people don't even recognize, because what she's doing, what she's choosing every single day is to stay focused. She's building something with her time, her energy, her effort, something that matters. She's not distracted by dead-end situations or stuck in cycles that go nowhere. She's moving different, thinking long-term, planting seeds that are going to bloom for years to come. See, you got to understand what focus looks like. It don't always come wrapped up in noise and attention. It don't always look glamorous. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's just you, your journal, your goals, your prayers, your grind. While other people are chasing temporary validation, she's chasing legacy. She's not spending her nights arguing on the phone, trying to decode text messages, wondering why someone didn't call back. Nah, she's resting. She's researching. She's preparing. She's becoming. You know how many women get pulled off their path because they're wrapped up in people who don't even know where they're going. That's not her story anymore. She might have gone through that phase, being with a man who had no vision, no plan, no consistency. But she woke up, and now she's done wasting her time on potential that never becomes reality. She's not distracted by what could be when it's clear that what is ain't enough. She's staying focused on her bag, her business, her mental health, her fitness, her spiritual life, on whatever fills her up and makes her better. She knows that when you clear out the emotional clutter, when you stop entertaining every little flirtation that shows up in your DMs, you make room for clarity. You can think straight. You can create with purpose. You can grow without the chaos. And that right there, that's priceless. She's learned how to invest in herself now. She's not just spending money. She's spending wisely. She's taking courses, going to therapy, learning new skills, traveling solo, reading books that sharpen her. She's not trying to numb her discomfort with attention from a man. She's learning how to sit with it, work through it, and grow stronger because of it. She's done choosing distraction over direction because her future matters more than her fear of being alone. And you know what's crazy? The moment a woman really locks in on herself, when she stops chasing and starts choosing, when she stops begging and starts building, the world starts to notice. People feel her energy shift. She walks into a room and don't need to say a word. Her peace speaks for her. Her discipline speaks for her. Her standards speak for her. And now she's not looking for someone to complete her. She's looking for someone who won't disrupt what she's built. A focused woman is dangerous in the best kind of way because she's not driven by desperation. She's driven by vision. She's not afraid to say no. She's not afraid to sit still. She's not afraid to wait. Not because she's stalling, but because she understands the difference between progress and motion. Just because something is moving don't mean it's moving in the right direction. She's focused on alignment now, not activity. She wants what fits, not what simply shows up. Now don't get it twisted. She still desires love. She still dreams of partnership, but not at the expense of her purpose. Not if it means dimming her light or pausing her progress. She's not giving up what she's built just to say she's got somebody, because she finally realizes if the wrong person can delay your growth, the right one can accelerate it. But until that right one shows up, she's gonna keep building like she's already got everything she needs. Because in a lot of ways she does. She's not sacrificing her peace for attention. She's not trading her ambition for attachment. She's not putting her dreams on hold just to entertain someone who doesn't even ask her how her day went. That's not her anymore. She's focused. Focused on becoming the kind of woman she needed when she was at her lowest. Focused on making sure her future self looks back and says, "Thank you for not giving up on me." She's focused on healing from her past so she doesn't repeat it. Focused on building wealth, not just emotionally, but financially. Focused on surrounding herself with people who push her forward, not pull her back. She's choosing growth, not games. She's choosing purpose, not pressure. And because of that, she's walking into rooms with confidence, she's speaking with clarity, and she's making moves that make sense. Not just for now, but for the woman she's becoming. And that woman, she don't settle, she don't get distracted, she don't forget who she is just because she's lonely. Because she knows loneliness is a season. Growth is a lifestyle, and she's living by that. So if you see a woman out here living alone with no boyfriend, minding her business, smiling a quiet kind of smile, it ain't sadness. That's focus. That's clarity. That's power. And that's exactly why she's unstoppable.